Okay, so now I want to go over printing. Before I do that, though, I did forget to mention one thing about going back to the sheet setups when we were adding drawings, things like that. By default, Revit already has all of these sheets, but if we ever wanted to add a new sheet, we could simply go to Sheets, right-click, and select New Sheet. Okay, but in the residential template, we are using the 22 by 34 horizontal title block. But if you want it, and you'll notice that there's an 11 by 17 as well. But if you want more options, we could click on Load, and we'll go ahead and scroll down into title box, and here we could find additional sheets. Okay, you could always take one of these, copy it, paste it, duplicate it, and then edit the title block. And so you can make it larger, smaller, and make those changes as well. Okay, so let's cover printing. So I'm going to go up and I'll hit, actually, I always do this by the shortcut. So it's Control P on a PC, Command P on a Mac. Oh, wait, Revit doesn't work on Mac. Sorry. We're going to go and click on print. Okay. So I highly recommend that you use a PDF, that you print your documents to a PDF. That you print your documents to a PDF. Okay? Whether that's Adobe PDF. I really don't like Microsoft PDF. It's really wonky, and it's very difficult to play with some of its settings. But there are other PDFs out there, PDF formatting out there, like Bullzip. Bullzip is a really good PDF creator, and they have a free version. Adobe is a bit pricey, especially their PDF creator. So that, the upside is that Adobe is a very reliable PDF creator, but Bullzip is another really good one. If you go online, you could find a wide variety of different kind of PDF creators. Anyways, the importance of a PDF, right? Whether it's Adobe or Bullzip or whichever one you want, is that a PDF is a printed digital formatted file. Okay. What that means is that you are taking your Revit kind of drawings and you are literally printing them as if you had a printer right next to you, but you're printing them in a digital file. Okay? The reason why that's important is because softwares typically do not speak the same language as printers do. So if I didn't have a PDF and I wanted to print this directly to a printer or a plotter, right, without and bypassing this PDF process, you're essentially asking Revit to convert its coding or convert this drawing into a completely different language that the printer can understand. And in my experience, there is always problems. It doesn't print correctly. The line weight isn't the same. It's glitchy. It just doesn't work well. It just doesn't translate well at all. So that's why we print to a PDF. By going from Revit to a PDF, Revit understands the same language, or we could set up the PDF to understand the same language as Revit. Once we have the PDF, a PDF is a pretty universal language that the printer can then understand. So you don't lose any resolution. You don't lose anything in this translation, right? That's kind of the best way that I could kind of explain it. Obviously, it's ones and zeros and coding and things like that behind it, but you want to be able to translate all this information without losing any of the resolution. So PDF is a really good kind of middleman that will help with that translation. So get yourself a PDF maker, whether Adobe PDF, Bullzip PDF, or just Google a PDF maker. Ironically, although we've set everything up, right? We have our drawing already set up to to print out on, it's a 22 by 34. We call it an ANSI D, ANSI, ANSI. Everything is set up in Revit. But ironically, when we hit print, this is a whole completely different kind of language. This is what I'm saying, that we have to make this conversion and we have to tell the printer what it is we want. It doesn't automatically auto-generate all of the information we have on the drawing. So once I set my printer to PDF, I have to go into the properties. And this is what I mean, right? It's set up thinking that we want to print to a letter. Adobe PDF or your PDF has no idea what size or what this is that we want to print. So we have to tell it. So I'm going to click on the pull down and I will click on ANSI D. Okay. If you do not have that, we could go to add and then we could go ahead and call it whatever we want to. This is a 22 by 34. So that's the name. And we would just change the width to 34 and the height to 22. And we would hit add, modify. I'm not going to do that because we already have that. Okay. But we do want to set the paper size correctly. I'll go ahead and hit OK. You could always go into paper quality, make sure it's color, or actually this time we want black and white, and that's all good. So we'll hit OK. All right. The next thing, and it has to be done in this order. It doesn't have to be, but it just works a lot faster because then we don't have to make any more additional changes afterwards. But if we work kind of in a clockwise manner, so we'll go down into settings. I'm going to click on setup. And I'm going to come over here where it says zoom. And it's by default, it's set to fit to page. Now, this is a huge problem for us when we do these scale drawings. You never want to print fit to page. Fit to page will essentially scale everything so that it ensures that it fits onto your actual page. So if I have an image of it and you don't want anything cut off, then yeah, we want it fit to page. But our drawings are actually drawn to a scale, right? I should be able to take an architecture scale to my drawings and it should read 6 feet or 5 feet. But if it prints fit to page and it slightly shrinks that, it slightly shrinks the drawing, then when I take my architecture scale, it's not going to be 6 feet. It'll be 5 feet and 9 inches. And then that can definitely cause problems on a job site. So we don't want fit to page. We're just going to hit zoom and leave that at 100%. Okay, so we're not changing the scale. We're going to just leave it at 100% and we'll hit OK. Says, do you want to save these settings for use in a future Revit session? I'm going to hit no. It's up to you. You might end up having to go through this. These settings are really just going to be kind of a one-off. But as you get more comfortable and familiar with the print setups, you might end up hitting yes at some point. But I'm just going to hit no. Okay. Next is the print range. So right now it's going to print just the current window. But we have a bunch of drawings, a bunch of sheets already set up that we're going to want to print. So I'm going to actually click on selected views and sheets, and then I'm going to hit select. And then down here, this is where I'm going to scroll, and you'll see that it has all of my views that I have in Revit, okay? And then what I'll do is I'm going to select all of the drawings or all of the sheets that I want to print. So I'm going to want first floor, second floor, I'm going to want first floor reflective ceiling plan, second floor reflective ceiling plan, my 2 elevations, and my section. So I believe it's a total of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sheets. Okay. Once I clicked on these, I'll hit select. And then right up here under file, I'm going to click combine multiple selected views sheets into a single file. So that when I hit print, it's going to take my 7 files, my 7 sheets, and print it into a single file. If I don't hit that and I leave it at create separate files, then it's going to give me 7 PDF files. And that becomes annoying because then you have to combine those files back into one file. Okay, so this gives us the option to combine all of those sheets into one single file, so that we could then send that file out to clients or contractors or whoever we need to send this over to. Once we're done, we'll go ahead and hit OK, and it's going to ask us where do you want to save, and I'm just going to save there. Now, this is the tricky part. I'm not sure if you guys see this. No, you don't. Oh, yes, you do see it right over here. That little kind of dialog box that popped up. I'm not sure why this happens, or how this happens, but every once in a while, maybe you notice how fast it moved. That's typically how fast it should move. If it stalls, and this happens a lot, if it stalls and it stops moving, then you're going to want to cancel. And it just means that it got stuck somehow, somewhere, because there's a whole lot of information that it's trying to convert. So you'll just have to hit cancel, and then you'll go through the same setup again. And typically, the second time around, it'll actually print everything without any issues. Okay, that's it. At this point, the PDF was created, and I now have a file with all of my 7 sheets. And that's how we go about printing to PDF.